ShinRobjira.
Come on, everybody. Do you really think I would end off Rob's Godzilla Room reviews without talking about the big boy? I stand corrected. The very big boy. Ahem. The very, very big boy. That's right, friends and neighbors. Today we're going to be taking a look at the 1991 Bandai Godzilla Jumbo Gigantic figure. There's not too much to talk about. It's just, he's a big boy with a lot of really nice detail. I mean, yeah, he's essentially just an upscaled version of the 1991 Bandai Godzilla figure, but who cares? Let's take a nice close look at this boy, his articulation, and his paint. Just to get this out of the way first, I will be covering articulation. There is articulation in the head. It is not the smoothest articulation I've seen on a Bandai figure, but this guy is also a pretty solid vinyl Bandai figure. You're gonna get side-to-side movement in the arms. Yeah. Oh, yeah, nice and smooth. Just, oh. When it comes to this boy's legs, there is articulation, just not a lot. As you can see, the leg only shifts so far forward and so far back. I kind of keep this guy at a very neutral stance because any more forward, he's just not going to go forward. Any more back, the nails are just going to get more ruined than they already are. And despite what little movement you're seeing from the tail, there is no articulation in the tail. This is not like an X Plus figure. I'm going to show footage right now of what the opposite end, the end that goes into Godzilla's butt, I'm going to show what that looks like, and it is very different. I'd never seen anything like this. And the way that it's made, it kind of curves around the parts that hold the legs in place. So whatever little movement you get out of this thing is simply because of the make and design of it all. I don't think it was really designed to move. Now, to give a little bit of backstory on this figure, I originally saw this at a local comic book store that I frequent, and he was sitting in the case, and he came with the box and everything. I had asked one of the people there if they could hold it for me. Unfortunately, they couldn't, so I believe maybe 3 or 5 days later, I had collected the money I came in, and the guy was sold. After that, I had found no trace of this guy on the internet or anything. Until one day, this random app came out. Doesn't exist anymore to my knowledge, but then again, I don't even remember the name of it, but somebody was selling this guy, forget this, 30 bucks. No box, complete. So I had contacted the guy and I said, okay, yeah, I'm interested. And unfortunately, this was marked as no shipping, like meaning you had to drive to collect it. So I was a little nervous in asking the guy, hey, I'll pay extra for shipping and yada yada, and surprisingly enough, he said, oh yeah, sure, you'll pay for shipping, go ahead. And he is truly one of my favorite figures. Alright, now that that's out of the way, I guess we can talk about detail and paint. We'll mostly be talking about detail because this guy's got 3 colors on him. Black, silver, orange, yellow, a little bit of red. That's more than 3, whatever. Look at that stoic and heroic stare he's got going on. So as you can see, we've got lots of detail and scales on Goji Boy's head. We can see the beginnings of the dorsal plates going right to the base of the neck. Now, if this isn't an example of just how amazing Bandai can be with their figures, I don't know what is, because from every angle, this figure looks fantastic. From the rows of teeth in his mouth, to his tongue, to his eyes, to the very strong brows, to the ears, to just the detail of the skin. This thing looks beautiful. Although from head on like this, it looks like he's got a bit of a smirk going on. Moving down to the chest, more of that fantastic detail. I mean, even looking at his arms, I don't know if this was intended to look like wrinkles in a suit or anything, but it looks exactly like that, and it looks awesome. This is a stocky boy with a stocky build. And wouldn't you know it, there's even a lot of fantastic detail on the fingers, on the nails, on the forearms, everywhere. Both sides of the figure feature very notable and beautiful details. Seriously, it's like I'm reaching into a TV screen and touching Godzilla himself. Touching from a distance. Even moving down to the lower stomach, to the thighs, to the knees, to the shins, to the feet. Lots of truly fantastic detail. And as you can see, we have silver paint for the nails, just like on the hands. Little bit dinged up. I mean, that's to be expected with some second-hand bought Godzilla figures. It's mostly the toenails that suffer the most. Thankfully, this guy ain't too bad. Speaking of which, I should probably show the silver on the nails. I didn't do that. Before I do, here's what the bottom of this Godzilla figure's feet look like. As you can see, Bandai 1991 Japan, and on the other foot, I don't know, except Godzilla. I imagine that probably says Bandai or Toho or something. Yet again, silver on the fingernails. These are rather dinged up as well. I don't know exactly what this guy went through before he came into my collection, but I think the beaten up silver is a showing of other battles with other figures. Speaking of which, let's move on to the dorsal plates. Mostly silver in color, and starting at the near top of Godzilla's head, you get a lot of fantastic detail on these things. The silver paint isn't the most accurate, and as you can see, it's a little chipped in some areas, but no matter what angle you look at this figure from, you're going to get an eyeful of detail. As you can see, here's some of those aforementioned paint chippings on the tips of the dorsal plates, but the chipping on the dorsal plates does become less and less prominent as you move towards the tail. Speaking of the tail, we have a lot of fantastic detail on the tail, on the top, on the side, and even on the bottom, if you could believe it. But much like Bandai today, the dorsal plates on top of the tail aren't painted the full way through. But you're still going to get some fantastic detail on the bigger dorsal plates towards the base, and even the smaller dorsal plates have details. Mesmerizing and electrifying. From detail to paint to size, this boy is beautiful. But before we end this off, let's do our size comparison. Here is Big Boy 91 Godzilla next to the Monster King series Godzilla Filius, Shin Godzilla, Final Climax Shin Godzilla, Godzilla 2019, Mecha Godzilla 4, NECA's Big Boy Godzilla 2014, and here's a bunch of other figures, rather smaller in size. And hey, look, there's my camera. Oh dear. I couldn't think of a better figure to end off the Bandai arc, and I honestly don't think it could have been any more fitting than to have the biggest Bandai figure that I own right now close off Rob's Godzilla Room Reviews for 2019. I didn't mean to trick any of you into that. I thought I made it pretty obvious that the finale video wasn't the actual finale video, but then again, I got really sentimental at the end of that video, so I apologize if it feels like I lied to you in any kind of way. I mean, the subliminal messaging that I put at the end of last week's video wasn't too cryptic. At least I don't think so. I'm sure a lot of you saw this coming. But anyway, I am ShinRobjira. Thank you so much for watching. I'm not going to repeat all the thank yous that I did in last week's video. What I will say is expect an update video coming this week to let you all know what I've got planned for this channel throughout the rest of the summer and the rest of the year. And get ready for some more figure reviews from your boy, because we got NECA Rodan. If he's not on his way now, then he'll be on his way soon. As of today, the recording of this video, he still hasn't been posted on NECA's eBay shop just yet. And you know, we got Atomic Godzilla, we got the 2 other new NECA Godzilla figures, whatever those are going to be. And hey, I got some Evangelion figure reviews coming your way, some Alien, some Sonic, some Legend of Zelda, and more and more. So yet again, thank you all for watching. Thank you for making Rob's Godzilla Room Reviews oh so very fun. Your boy's gonna take some time off, work on some of that aforementioned new content, and I will see you all very, very soon. Have a lovely week there, friends and neighbors. I'll probably see you during a stream this week or something. Bye, and may Skriang be with you.